So what if the thing you're chasing isn't actually what you're looking for? Money, the freedom, the six-figure business. Some of us, most of us, pour decades into, building that career or empire. We only do that to realize someday far in the future, we may be building the wrong direction or it wasn't exactly what we wanted. What I'm gonna say to you is, what if the truth isn't out there, but it's somewhere inside of you? And what if every so-called wrong turn was actually trying to point you back into alignment or the direction that's aligned with your purpose? So just stick around. I'm Gio, by the way. Stick around. I'm gonna share with you what took me 40 years to figure out, 43 actually. I'm gonna try and tell you in the next few minutes. So if you feel lost or misaligned in your business or your career, you're not failing. You're just in this process of refining. What do I mean by that? Every time we do something, it's trying to show us a bit about who we are, and we start to feel like, do we feel good? Are we aligned? I started multiple business ventures, had a lot of jobs. Some did well, others flopped, but I realized every single one taught me more and more about who I really am. It's allowed me to make changes and align more and more with my purpose, which brings fulfillment, is what we're actually all looking for at the end of it. So that's the path to purpose, peeling back the layers through experience. And life throws all these experience at us for a reason. It's always for us, not like, why me? It's just like, okay, why is this happening to me? And science even shows this, that research from the Journal of Positive Psychology shows that people with a strong sense of eudaimonic purpose, the kind based on self-awareness and contribution, experience better emotional regulation, lower inflammation, and higher resilience, and probably live a lot longer too and are happier. There's a beautiful quote by Confucius that says, everyone has two lives. The second one begins when we realize we only have one. So Jim Carrey also says something along this line. I think everyone should get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed so they can see that it's not the answer. So, it's like climbing a ladder against the wrong wall or loving the wrong person. Sometimes a detour is a curriculum, and by going up that wrong ladder, spending a lot of time, you learn a lot and you realign yourself. I've launched multiple businesses that look successful on paper, but inside I was disconnected, misaligned, empty. And that's what finally led me inward. This one experience I had where I was told my whole life growing up, make money. The whole purpose is if you make money, you're going to be successful and you're going to be liked. So net worth and self-worth was the same thing. And I finally, in my mid to late 20s, I started making a little bit of money, got married, bought a house, had a mortgage, and I realized that something didn't feel like I wasn't feeling the way I thought I was supposed to be, because everyone told me that's when you're going to be happy. I actually looked at my hands and they looked like these old wrinkly hands of my grandfather's. And I realized I'm going to wake up in the same bed for the next 20, 30, 40 years, look back at my life as an old man and figure out that it was purposeless, meaningless. I did nothing impactful or anything like that. So it caused me to go on this deep inward journey of figuring out. And I realized I had a problem in my heart. And my mind was trying to always answer the problems, like to come up with the solutions, but you can't solve a problem of the heart with the mind. And what I realized was a lot of the times those failures in business was what actually brought me back to my true self, to realize like, hey, you're not supposed to be doing this. And before it was all about, can I make money doing this? And in career, sometimes we're trying to figure out this is gonna be good on my resume. It's gonna help me make a lot of money. And yes, money is great, but it's not everything. I know a lot of people who are very rich. Half of them are miserable, half of them are happy. So the money doesn't bring you happiness. And so whether it's you're building your career or you're building your business, what you're actually building is yourself. And the more you can learn about who you are and get into alignment with who you are and what you're supposed to be doing, that's when you're gonna unlock the most fulfillment, joy, and probably abundance as well. Because once I got more aligned with my truth and who I was, the money, the opportunities, they came naturally. It wasn't like forcing it, running up a hill. And the same thing is for relationships too. Sometimes we're in relationships with the wrong people, we're afraid of being alone and we have all these fears. But really we're trying to learn about our compatibility. What we're actually looking for in a relationship is how we want to feel. Right? So the real currency in life is not money. It's actually time and alignment. And you learn how to course correct with clarity and not shame, guilt, and fear. And how to love that journey, even when it looks like nothing like the map you were told or your 5-year plan or 10-year plan. So Tony Robbins said it beautifully, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. Every business opportunity or career is like trying on a new blueprint. Some work, some don't. But they're all going to teach you a little bit more about yourself and what truly fits. Once I was building a business that looked like everything I dreamed of, but once I got there, I realized I wasn't enjoying the people I was working with. I was stressed, I couldn't sleep, and I was not having any time with my kids because I was in this fear of failure and it was taking me away from my family, and I realized I was actually unhappy. And I finally got this opportunity, all these investors wanted to invest. It was like my dream situation, but when I really sat with it, it wasn't what I wanted. the ability to have this huge business, but then having to answer to all these investors, having no time, having to travel, being away from my family was not aligned at all. At the last minute, I actually decided to say no. And I turned down all the investors. I shut down the actual business I had. We were going to transform. It was a wellness center in Toronto. And I was like, no. And since that day, the other things I've been focusing on that were more aligned with my heart has been taking off and scaling to new heights. If you've ever been in that situation asking like, is this it? Like you got that job or that business after hitting a goal. It's not that you're not broke. It's not like you're broken or something's wrong with you. It's just not alignment. And you're just ready to find out and learn a little bit more about yourself and your truth. You leave with this new compass. And if you're looking too much on the outside, you're going to miss it. You got to go inside. Okay. Because the most sustainable success starts with that self-connection. And for me, like, that was going to plant medicine, it was going to breathwork, it was doing a daily practice, just getting out of the noise in my head, all the beliefs and the comparison. Brené Brown said, you cannot truly love others until you learn to love yourself. And this means about learning about ourselves, being aware of ourselves, and really trying to understand ourselves better. So some of the important things that I'm going to get to in this video, because going a little bit all over the place so far, I hope you're still with me. But number one, time is your most valuable currency. Time is not an investment. It's not a resource. Treat it like, I guess, capital in business. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. You can't go back. So the faster you can learn these lessons and make the changes, the better. I don't mean like if something feels a little bit off, you got to jump ship right away, but we have to be able to kind of like walk away. And I've walked away from investments and business before when I knew for sure it wasn't alignment. I was able to make that money back in other ways, although at the time it felt very scary. And science has shown that people who prioritize meaningful use of time over income experience higher life satisfaction. That's from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. And what are we actually going for in life? Happiness, satisfaction, joy, stuff like that. I've spent a lot of time. I built businesses that cost me years of peace, tattoo shops, construction companies, just for the illusion of momentum. Maybe my ego wanted me to prove, but I'm not doing that anymore. I'm getting really clear before I do something. Why am I actually doing this? Okay, how is this in alignment with my truth and my vision for a life? And what is my intention? Your intention is like that energy you want to bring into everything you do. Okay, where you're spending time that doesn't feed your soul or your mission. Like, where is that happening right now in your life? You can reverse a bad investment, but you can't reverse wasted time. And that was the big thing I learned. And once you start knowing that, hey, this is out of alignment, you better start making some changes. And the other thing I realized is that my business was not my net worth. I wasn't my revenue. I wasn't my title. What I realized was I was the impact that I can do through my business, and I was helping to create that change because my intention was to help people create change in this world, a positive change. And I filtered that through my business. And with that clear intention, it allowed me to kind of open up opportunities that I wouldn't have previously been able to achieve. And think of your business or your career as a vehicle, not your identity. So we want to make sure that we're aligned with what we do, the impact we can make, the value we can create for others, because then we get that back in spades. Okay, so whether you're chasing careers or you're chasing businesses, whether you're a sales consultant or a wellness coach to a content creator, all these things never made me enough. But once I started connecting with myself, learning about myself, I realized that I was sometimes searching for external validation. But when I really saw the impact that I was doing, that gave me a different kind of energy, purpose, and fulfillment than it was about getting recognized for things I did. Question for you: if your titles were all stripped away, who would you be? If you never got recognized for the business you did, but you knew it was making impact, how would that feel to you? Your brand is not your soul. Your Instagram isn't your self-worth, right? Although a lot of us, validate ourselves based on these things. Once you're really aligned with your purpose, that stuff means less and less and less. And what actually happens is the more you pour in that energy and create that alignment, the universe will kind of respond tenfold, okay? And you'll get more abundance in time and money and opportunities and experiences, which are the best kind of abundance, okay? The big one here is that purpose isn't found. It's not like I'm gonna find my purpose. People come to breathwork experiences and their intentions, I wanna find my purpose. And they think they go to plant medicine or ayahuasca and it's gonna tell me my purpose. Here, just go do this. And that's not how it works, for me anyways. It's through going through these experiences, self-awareness, trying different things, you start realizing what feels good and what doesn't. And sometimes in order to find your purpose, this is a huge lesson for me, is you gotta learn something about some of your fears first. You gotta get over them. So, someone that might need courage, like you're not gonna find your purpose until you find that self-confidence first. And that's that first step into learning about yourself, healing yourself, finding yourself. These little roadblocks are gonna come in relationships, in careers, in businesses. And it's like, for me, it was like fear of failure was a big one. Until I got over my fear of failure, I wasn't going to find my purpose. Until I got over my fear of being rejected, I wasn't going to find my purpose. So each opportunity showed me something about myself. And as I learned more, I was like, okay, doesn't matter if I fail, because the people who care about me and love me are going to support me regardless. And so as I was going through each step, the purpose becomes clearer and clearer and clearer. I didn't figure it out by thinking, because my brain was smart. I was a great problem solver, especially as an entrepreneur. But I started connecting to myself. I started experiencing and making these small changes, showing up a little bit differently. If you want to lift yourself up, lift someone else up. And this was bring that energy. How do you create value for people, not just trying to extract it? In business, in the old days, it was about winning, profiting. And then it was like, okay, if I can really focus on helping other people, creating so much value, they're going to refer me, they're going to tell their friends, they're going to come back for more. And I'm going to feel really good about the process. In 2020, there's a study in Frontier Psychology that found that breathwork improves emotional clarity, focus, and self-perception, all key purpose to alignment. So this goes to show that the more you can connect with yourself, it's going to help you to be more aligned, to learn about yourself. If you want to learn about breathwork, check out I'll share a link below where you can check it out. For me, after years of chasing impact out there, it was in these moments of reflection and breath that I started to finally hear what I was meant to do, because I had to clear a lot of the noise out first, learn from my experiences. Okay, why am I feeling this frustration? Why does this pattern keep happening? Reflect on it and say, oh, I can see because I was trying to people please too much, or I was too worried about what people think of me. Your purpose is not going to start by screaming at you really loud. It's going to start with these little whispers. But if you're not quiet enough to hear it, it's going to have to throw you into these harder situations, bigger breakups, failures in your career, changing jobs, maybe businesses failing, until you can start to realize it's actually probably you that's a problem and not everything else. The basis of all this is self-respect. It's not about being on all the time. It's about showing up with integrity. And I'll tell you, people that burn out, it's usually trying to force it too much. When you're aligned with your mission and your purpose, it gives you energy for days more than you can for just trying to force yourself, which I did a lot in the past. It's like tuning a guitar. If you're out of tune, it's not going to sound right. It's not going to feel right. But once you find that attunement, bam, things are going to start happening. You're going to feel it. Synchronicities are going to show up. It's going to get easier and be in flow, and everything's going to start to shift. So my question to you is, what feels out of alignment today, and what can you change? How can you connect with yourself more and get more clarity? And start to really dive into that self-love, because that self-love, when you start loving yourself, your capacity to love others and create for others increases. And I know it's not easy because people say oh, just love yourself. It's so simple. It starts with just doing that work, being more aligned, having compassion for the mistakes and failures, or if you feel like you're behind, and start getting those small wins and really trying to create value out in the world and create value for yourself. When I stopped giving just to get, because I noticed that was one of my patterns, it also comes a lot in business and sales, you're trying to win everyone's approval, life started giving back tenfold for me. And that came through me becoming a breathwork facilitator, for sharing, from teaching. I'm seeing this impact that I'm creating in the world right now, and that's creating the most abundance and fulfillment that I've ever felt in my life. And when we start loving ourselves and creating that value, it attracts the right clients, opportunities, people. It took me a long time to figure this out, 40 years, 43 now to be exact, just to start getting this clarity in the last 5 or 10 years. And so I hope sharing this with you will help you to get clear on why you're building what you're building, this career, this business, or these relationships. What's the why behind it? What's your intention? And where do you need to connect with yourself more and let go of some beliefs, forgive yourself for past failures? And if you start living from purpose and not performance, what could your life look like? So choose alignment over validation, time over titles, and I guess breath over burnout is another good one I like to say. So that's what 40 years taught me. Connect with yourself, save yourself some time. Invest in yourself, retreats, self-reflection, mentors, teachers. Time is your true wealth. Spend it where it actually matters. Get aligned and make every single moment count. Your purpose is inside you already. You're not going to find it outside. Use breathwork, reflection, nature to align yourself and then build it from there. My name is Gio. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video.